That's how everybody's day going. Hopefully everybody's day going great, well. Hopefully everybody is staying safe from the COVID, wearing a mask when they go outside, or if they're going around gatherings or anything of that nature. So my question to you guys is, what does growing up Milwaukee mean to you?
Hey, I'm gonna jump in first because when I see this, and this is probably telling my age a little bit. I grew up going to the same church as Brooks, and right after church, his grandparents were the pastor and the first lady. And when Brooks was about 3, he would get up afterwards and do the preaching sermon and sing like he was like mimicking what was going on. And I remember his grandmother telling me, saying, "Hey, this baby is practicing and preparing for what he's gonna be." And I remember seeing the training. And so when I look at Brooks, I see that I've gotten older because he's a grown man, but I see how he's even trying to handle that baton off to Marquell and saying, how are we going to keep doing this? And that's what I think about when I think about growing up Milwaukee. I look at people like Mr. James Beckham, like William Finlay, some people who were like towers to me growing up who I wanted to emulate and see. And when I grew up, Milwaukee was probably one of the best places for a Black man to live. My dad worked at A.O. Smith. So I remember picking up my dad with my mom, and man, we just had, it was just thrones of cars, and you see all these men coming out with this hard work. They had on their hard hats, lunch buckets, and it was just prosperous. But then slowly but surely, being a baby of the 70s, then you see the 80s. You start to see the buildings are still there, but something is changing a little bit. Back in the day, I used to could wear my hat to the side, but then it came a time if your hat went like this, you was in some trouble. And what it would let you know, it was a changing kind of the guards of what was coming on. And with that, we started to see the drugs, we started to see the gangs, and you just started to see things kind of slowly going down. And when we start seeing that, we fast forward that to the 90s, we fast forward to 2000s, and we see a different kind of Milwaukee. And so we started talking about like Milwaukee is bad. I tell people, no, Milwaukee's not bad. I said, we had some things come, but if we reverse engineer it, we know where it starts from. So when Marquell talking about he's going to be the change, he's not the only one who's got to be the change. It's all of us. And we know it starts. I see DC up on here, and he's doing great things, man. My county executive. I'm so happy to say that, man, when I see that, because it's that generation that's coming on who saw the struggle, who said, you know what, I don't want to just talk about it. I want to be about it. And he came in front ground running. It goes back to the economic prosperity, seeing everybody from a level of humanity. So we went from first to worst. Now the question is, how can we come back? And to see people like David Crawley, to see people like Brooks, see people like Marquell, that gives us the hope that it can happen. But then it also lets me know our generation had to dig down deep, because usually the young people do it because they're a little bit more fearless. They don't have as much to lose. But it's going to take the ingenuity, some of the financial resources, some of the wisdom that the older people have to become fearless again to help them make the move. So when I see Milwaukee, a lot of people talk about how bad it is. And Dr. Monique Liston put a thing. She said, I'm going to stop saying how bad it is, but we're going to rechange that narrative. Tammy Belton Davis says that too. How can we rechange that negative to say what we want to see? And as a psychologist, I know positive thinking is really the key. So when we start saying what we're going to put out our mouth, we want to put that positive stuff out, make it manifest, and seeing the diversity on this, not just in race and age and gender. This is really how it starts. We go back, everybody talking about, Judas and the Black Messiah with Fred Hampton. But what I loved about him, it was like, how can we get all the people together? He was the inventor of the Rainbow Coalition, and get all of us together with a certain need to say, how can we make this better for everybody? And when I see this, I'm excited about it. I told you I was tired before, but I'm motivated because I see this. And as I see this, I'm looking forward to hear what everybody got to say and really what we can do as far as an action to really make it go forward. So I'm going to shut up. Go back to Marquell, but I'm excited. I'm here as a resource for you, Marquell, for you, Brooks, as we go forward.
Hey, Marquell, could you call Ocean? Because I want to make sure we get the youth voice in here.
Oh yeah, that's the next person I got. Right after him is David Crowley. But I want Ocean to speak for me real quick. How you feel about it?
Well, growing up in Milwaukee, I can't really say it's bad and good at the same time. Like he said, you got to make your own choice on how it's going. Like, you could choose to go down the wrong path, you could choose to go down the right path. It's all up here. Like, it's all what you want to do. It's how you feel. Growing up, you see it, yeah, you can see a lot of stuff going on. But if you're not interfering with it, it's nothing that got to do with you. Like it's all.
So what you're saying is basically if you got them mentors around you that's helping you, guiding you down the right pathway, and even if you still see the negativity like the gang, the drugs and all this other stuff, your mentor is going to be that positive outfit for you.
Yeah.
To lead the way to education and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Man, that's dope. I think even sitting in the middle, I hear it that we need help. We need help. We need each other.
Yeah.
As much as pride as we want, as much as our city make us want to be isolated, especially in the midst of COVID, like we need each other, and that's why I'm excited. I know Marquell said he wanted to kick it over to DC. DC, what does it mean for you, man, growing up in Milwaukee?
Well, first and foremost, thank you for this opportunity to actually talk about growing up in Milwaukee and not just the movie, but just the experience as a Black man or a person of color, a man of color growing up. And I gotta be honest, like I literally, a tear came to my eye within the first 15 minutes of actually watching it because, seeing Marquell, I think it was Tiana and Brandon, honestly, I seen myself. I was sitting there thinking to myself, because when I seen many of the individuals, when I seen Kwabena move here, when I seen Kwaku, when I seen Charlene, those are literally the mentors that I had when I was in high school who helped propel me into the position that I am in. So when I looked at that movie and I think about growing up in Milwaukee, one, it really showed and highlighted many of the issues that we see growing up as a person of color. And it was really, it showed people what it's like to grow up as a young person in general, as a young person of color, that so many people have the luxury of literally turning a blind eye to. But when I also think about growing up in Milwaukee is that, and I think Oceana and Marquell was kind of hitting on this, is that just because I went through all this, a lot of the times it kind of predetermines what our destiny is. But in reality, when you got individuals around you, mentors, that's helping to guide you and you can talk to and open up to, those individuals put you on a path that you've never seen yourself being on. And when I think about just growing up in Milwaukee, we always talk about, the issues that we see. But honestly, thanks to like organizations like Urban Underground and Public Allies, I have a different view of things. And even though we may talk about, all the bad things that's happening within the city of Milwaukee, I always think about ABCD, which is asset-based community development. And we have a lot of things going on in our own backyard that we don't acknowledge, that we need to continue to invest in. And when we focus on those strengths, it pushes us even further. And even in the movie, one of the individuals, one of the men doing the circle, he talked about how sometimes you can find your strength in your brokenness, in your weakness, and how do you put yourself together when you're broken? And sometimes that's where you have to start. And what we have to do everything that we can growing up in Milwaukee to let our young people know that we value them, we respect them, and we want them to be engaged in this process of growing up. And so, I love this city. I love this county. Do we have our issues? Absolutely. But when you think about, do we have the solutions? Absolutely. And those solutions are on this call right now. And there's so many young people out in this world who have so much to contribute. We just have to make sure that we're cultivating, their mind, their body, their soul, and understanding how they fit within this world and what role they play in making sure that we can move forward.
Hey, Mr. Crowder, I think you said something that I even want to pause because it always comes up in these Barbershop Mondays, and I know Marquell wanted to point at this too a little later on. You said in the first 15 minutes you cried. Your tear came down, and I'm not sure if you watched the documentary. For those that was on here, there was a moment where Marquell shed a tear. Yeah. And his mentor came and he wrapped his arm around him. One of my mentors too, that that really opens up where it says, "Hey man, we got to cry." And I'm not, and Marquell, I know where you want to take this, so I'm gonna let you take it, to where it goes.
But told him that he could cry.
Let's sit there. Let's kind of sit there and let's talk about that, because I think we need to, especially right now in the midst of 2021 with everything that's going on. DC, you see it from the high level. In terms of everything that's coming in, Marquell, you feel it on the streets. So let's kind of sit. What makes us cry now? What are we feeling in terms of being men? In terms, we got women in here too. I'm excited to have this, multi-gender Barbershop Monday. But what makes us cry? What are we feeling right now in terms of even after the documentary? But and I'm gonna pause and also say this too. I watched the documentary, but I'm like, some more things that ain't on there. There's some lived experiences that we can also be on there too and be a part of the documentary as well. So what are we feeling? And anybody can hop on this.
butt in for a second. Hi, everybody. So I saw a couple different King graduates. And so growing up Milwaukee for me was taking 2 different buses to get to King. I lived on Garfield and North basically. And so it was either the 14 to the 19 or the 62 or walk up to the 19th and take that down Atkinson. So for me, that's, that experience taking the bus, it's also a key time where it was very obvious that there were certain parts of the city that had things and certain parts of the city that didn't. Because you take that 62 all the way to the east side, now you're in Shorewood and you see a lot of the haves and the things that maybe you want to have access to. And that was, I think, when we talk about the feeling of tears and things like that, accepting that we have these feelings is really important. And I worked at MCA, which is now Howard Fuller Collegiate Academy, for a little while, and they were doing circle work where they were encouraging young people to like express those emotions too, because it's not it. I was in 03. It's still a situation right now. People are still have feelings that they need to express now. There is still a disparity between, 29th and Capitol versus, Shorewood on Capitol Drive. So.
Definitely. I see Mr. Bingham chimed in as well.
Yeah, man. Hello, everyone. Charlie Bingham, native of 23rd and Chambers, 27th and Chambers, went to Our Avenue. I had to escape Milwaukee. I went to Marquette my freshman year and Marshall my second year and got into some trouble. So my mom shipped me down south to Mississippi. And I tell people, that saved my life. I'm constantly putting that I'm a survivor by the grace of God of Milwaukee, because if you know that area is real. But I wanted to chime in without being too verbose on Brooks' question. And I noticed this as I grew up. What makes us cry? I was raised where you had to man up. You couldn't really show your feelings. My mother started a program at COA called Feeling Your Feelings, and she was like a social worker and a principal for a while. And that was probably around the time that I was a young teenager, and I had to, it's like being drugged to church. I had to go with her to these places, and I saw these people showing all of these emotions. As I've grown up, what I've seen is really random. Like I'm hard. Like, because of where I came up, I don't even cry at funerals. Like me and my sisters, we were the type that would be sitting in the funeral cracking jokes. That's just how much death I've seen growing up in Milwaukee. But what I learned is I got out of Milwaukee and started growing up. The things that make me cry is completely random. When I see a father and a son relationship, I forget the name of the movie, but I remember my wife was like, I was sobbing like a baby. I think it's Leonardo DiCaprio, where the guy is like Blood Diamonds, and his son in Africa, his son had got taken by some gang, and his father was fighting to go get him from this African warlord. And images like that, where I just see a father having to fight for his son, it just moves me. Any type of image like that, where it's and that's like the only thing that moves me to tears. And so, I started doing a self-assessment, like, yo, what is it? And started looking back at my history. And I think it's because and this is why I'm on the call, when you're in that situation and you're that child, you looking for guidance. When I was coming up, it wasn't there until my mom started. It wasn't there in the people that I wanted it to be there in, until my mom started sending me away with people in the church, like elders and deacons, and I'd go with them. But I always wanted it like directly from my dad and never got it. My brothers and your uncles. And I think I shed a tear too when Uncle Rick put his arm around Marquell. I was like, man, that's what we need. And we don't get a chance to really cry and let those emotions out. And so that's why I'm here, man. I want to give back and in any way that I can to help the young men, because I know that's what we need. Sometimes we just need somebody to say, look, I may not know exactly what you're going through, but you're going to make it through this because I've been through something similar, or I made it through the things that I went through, and we just all need hope. So when I see those situations with a father and son, it just really warms my heart, and that's what makes me cry.
Man,
I got
that's dope. Go ahead. Go ahead. Oh,
like he was saying, seeing a father and son relationship, that's something big that'll touch someone, because it's a lot of kids out here that don't have their father, and it's a lot of young men out here that can't go to nobody and talk to nobody about things that they going through. So it's good to have mentors or fathers that's out here to help their kids.
And it's true on that, because I mean, like, then again, it's like if we had more fathers in the, in our lives and stuff, maybe most of this stuff wouldn't be happening, because that's all, like, young people need is their dad in a life of teaching them how to be a man, teaching them how to respect a woman, teaching them how to walk on the side of the curb, so that your woman won't get wet, you get wet instead of your woman, because that's just what a man do. How to hold the door for a woman and everything. If you see an elder walking across the street, if you ain't got that much of time on your, if you got time on your schedule, why not walk her across the street with her? You feel me? That's just like things I think of, and I'm glad that you, you spoke on that, because
I'm gonna put you on the spot, Mr. Crowley. But even in your role right now, man, leadership, through our one-on-one conversations with me and Marquell, Marquell has so many deep aspirations of leadership, and not even in terms of like, hey, just follow me, in terms of really moving people to action. And you're in the role of leadership. A lot of people look on you, depend on you, but do you cry? Does like life get to you, and like, do you have those moments even in public or even in private where you just break down and just cry?
Well, I come from a household where it's like men didn't cry, and I would say that I didn't get into a place where it was comfortable with crying in front of people until I did my first workshop actually with Kwabanan Muhib. And as a matter of fact, I think it was actually the poem that they did on the movie that really moved me. And Muhib had one particular poem that he always said, you know what, I don't cry. Tears are for punks. I'm a thug. And if you haven't heard that particular poem, I highly recommend next time you run into him to recite that particular poem, because it's okay to cry. And I would tell you that, being sad, it used to make me angry, and when I was a kid, when I was happy, I would cry, and now I realize that crying, I could be happy, I could be sad, I could be angry, because it's an outlet for me to be able to let the world know what's going on. And actually, we always say, well, you shouldn't show people that you're vulnerable, but actually it shows your strength when you are vulnerable around other individuals, because you can actually be helping them out, because they may look at you like, why are you crying, bro? Why are you crying, sis? And sometimes that's what you need somebody to ask that question. And you also have that type of dialogue when somebody sees you open up like that. It creates an even greater bond. And I would say that, my pathway into being a community organizer, being an elected official, I had to become comfortable being uncomfortable and being vulnerable and talking about where I come from, my own experience, bad or good, that has set me up, to be who I am today. And so we can either be mad, we can be sad, we can be happy about all of our experiences. But the one thing that we have to do is make sure that we understand that our past, it doesn't necessarily define us, but knowing where you come from helps you move forward. But crying is a part of who we are. You should never have to hide who you are. You should never have to hide your feelings. But it's important that you share with other individuals when you think about your emotions, because we are all intertwined. I know we've been, in the middle of COVID, it's been hard to interact with individuals, right, personally, and we've been telling people to socially distance. And I would tell you that if you told somebody to social distance, don't say that again. We don't need people to social distance. We need people to be as social as possible while physically distancing. And that, because that socializing is part of human nature, and we need that so much. But it's important to share your emotions with individuals, especially those you want to build with, because it creates that greater, tighter bond for you to move forward. And when you can open up to someone emotionally, and they still stick with you, they'll let you know how much they love you, how much they care about you, because they want to see you grow, they want to see you be successful. So it's important that you are vulnerable with those who want to help you succeed.
Man, that's why I love Barbershop Monday. You getting game. Hey, Quill, you see how we do it? Look, dropping game from everywhere,
You know what I'm
and
saying?
look, we talking back and forth. Me and Marquell, the Zoom life. We learn how to really make best of what we got. So me and Marquell are having these direct conversations, and he's appreciative that everybody's popping on. So I definitely want, he has a question for the police force. So I definitely want to connect to you, and then Daryl, you're gonna hop in right away. But Quill, go ahead. You can definitely pop in.
Um, question for you guys is right there. Amy, and what's your name, sir?
Ralph.
Ralph. And ma'am, what's your name?
Billy.
Okay. Hi, everyone. My name is Marquell again. My question to you guys is, have y'all ever had like a mental breakdown from being a part? Well, no, not from being a part, from your job, like from your job duties and stuff like that. Have you ever had a mental breakdown where you thought like, I want to quit, I don't want to be at this job no more, and like just everything? Like, because I know you guys go through a lot as being police force and stuff. Being a police officer is so many trials and tribulations and so much writing, so much understanding and everything. So I just want to get like you guys' opinion about that.
All right, I'll start off. First of all, I'd like to say I'm Ralph McLean, by the way, and it's an honor and a privilege to be sharing the screen time with all of you brothers. It really is an honor. And if you don't mind, I want to revisit real quick. I hope y'all don't mind a Chicago brother talking about his experience growing up in Chicago.
See, we different. We accept you. We'll accept you. That's what Milwaukeeans do. That's 414 life.
I appreciate that. Well, briefly, I talk about 312 life a little bit. So, yeah, I grew up west side of Chicago, and what that meant to me is like being a small shorty in the 70s, and then coming into the 80s. So that means like cardboard boxes, spinning on your back, mean mugging someone, but eventually dancing instead of fighting. That also means growing up in neighborhoods where there was gang violence as well. But like I think many others said before, you also had that mentorship aspect there. The school I went to, we had flag football squads and teams after school. So we always had someone there, the adults, who would kind of pull us to the side. If they noticed that we were doing something that wasn't right, they would tell us and we would respect them. And they would take that time with us. So many people think when you're growing up in a certain area or neighborhood that you just really have to fall into like the bad aspect of that life, but you don't really have to do that. You can keep doing your thing, keep pushing and everything. I didn't have like parents who were overly strict on me, but one of the things that I wanted to do was I wanted to show them how much I love them and respect them by trying at least to do the right thing. So it's kind of like all those aspects mixed together. So I moved here to the great city of Milwaukee in the mid 90s. And before I even was on the department, I worked at a place over on Martin Luther King Drive, Career Youth Development, CYD. So I worked over at CYD for many years, worked at a group home over there, and just come to love the energy and everything about Milwaukee. Speaking of Quabana, Brother Qua, I used to go over and try my hand a little bit of spoken word over at Thursday night Stillwater set, So I used to hang out down there a little bit with Muhib and Sister Dasha. So I love the energy. The question from Brother Marquell, as far as mental breakdown, all the time. All the time. There are numerous times, there are numerous situations I've been in. And of course, you got to do your thing when you're on duty and your training kicks in. But then afterwards, we're like anybody else, we're human. So, we go home and you have to sit with that a lot of times. Luckily, I have a beautiful wife and a beautiful daughter whom I'm able to kind of decompress. And so that helps me through. But man, there are plenty of times that I think about certain things. It'll get to me, but that vulnerability that we just talked about, it touches the soul. So what it does, it actually makes you more human and connects to other human beings. So then when I'm going out and doing my duties, I'm able to see others as human as well and treat them as such. So that's a very good question, Marquell. Thanks for the question.
And Marquell, I even want to even pause. Like, why did you ask that question, Marquell? Because, you know, I know, but I think, you know, we need to put it out. Like, even why would you even want to know if a police officer, you know, has mental breakdowns?
Can I answer that on your over there?
Go ahead. It's barbershop. You know how we. Hey, look, it's barbershop Monday. Let's talk.
Why I think he asked that is because of the society that we live in, everything that's going on around us. And most officers, you could say, people feel they don't have like no emotions, they don't have feelings for certain people. And to hear an officer saying it, like, yeah, like the other barbershop Mondays we had when the officer come in and talk to us about it, like it's officers out here that really do care about you. They got love for you, that show love for you, that could go home and be hurt too because of what they didn't see. You know, like I feel that's one reason he asked that question.
That's dope.
All right, I'll answer that question. I'm Amy Rivera. I grew up in Milwaukee. I'm 40th in Hampton, went to Milwaukee Public School, graduated from Madison High School, Madhouse. So I'm a product of this city. Grew up in a fairly violent neighborhood. I had both parents at home, and I think that actually helped me stay out of trouble. It actually made me want to get into law enforcement because of what I was surrounded by, and I actually wanted to do something about it in a positive way. I wanted to help people, and so that's why I became a police officer. I'm currently a sergeant, so I'm actually Ralph's supervisor.
That's very fun.
And to answer his question in regards to breakdowns, yes, there have been some really bad days. One was where I was the incident commander, which was in charge of a major scene. And the scene was where a father actually drowned his baby in the water. The mother was there screaming, and we weren't there quick enough. Nobody was there to save this child. And I had to create, the scene, secure it. You couldn't show that emotion. I couldn't go and comfort this mother who was screaming that her child had died. So now I'm a mother, and it's getting me teary right now just thinking about it. So.
And as always in the Barbershop Monday, when individuals open up their story, we just want to say thank you. You don't know us from everywhere else. So just to open up your story, thank you. And anybody that, from this conversation, because we are going deep, but we're going right where we need to be. We're going right where this whole purpose of the Barbershop Monday is supposed to be. We can, we have the nervousness. If I talk about Marquell, I'm like, hey, Marquell, I know you're going to kill it. This your platform. It's going to start off a little nervous, but then we're going to get to right where we need, because we're talking about something that's real. We're talking about something that's uniting. But we
one thing I know about
Marquell. Go ahead. Oh, what's up?
One thing I know about Marquell, he gonna talk. He ain't gonna be nervous. I met Marquell. I was going to Bayview, and we went to a big thing. It was kind of like this with a lot of people around, and it's crazy because it was me, Marquell, and like another student from Bayview, and we was the only ones just kept answering questions. Like
yes, I remember that.
Every time it was just us. We talked every time. It was basically like they was getting tired of hearing us because we was the only ones saying something.
Man, because it's like always just like, breaking that ice of like being a man, just to speak first, just coming up to speak first, and, giving your story gives the icebreaker for others to share their story. You never know. You might go through the same thing, or you might just connect on a different level, and you might see so many similarities that you got against each other. And then as you be like, oh, what up, bro? That's my brother, or that's my dog. And then that's where you get the slang from. Like, we just be cool from there.
Yeah.
Wait, hold on. Because a lot of people be calling people bros. Like, what up, bro? What up, bro? So you telling me really that word is a sign of respect that y'all really are coining and saying it's like leader?
Okay. Some people use words different. Some people use a lot of words.
Help us out. We need some help.
It like with bro. Certain words you can say, oh, what's up, Brooks, bro? Like, how you doing, bro? That's on the cool note. Some people be bro, you this, bro, that. Like they into it. Like it's certain ways to use bro. But like Marquell was saying, bro, as in family, like, oh, we clicked, we connected, we here with
that love.
you there with it. It's love, and it's like instead of bro, you did this, bro, and bro, I'm on this, bro. Like it's different when you say, bro, you my brother, bro, or you, bro, we into it, bro. You
Bro
know?
on the streets and bro in the school, as in love.
Yeah.
I mean, like if I use that word against somebody, it's no disrespect. It's all love. And if we was ever to come in between a conflict, we'll know how to solve it each other between each other without going to like social media or
Social
anything
media,
of that nature.
right?
Because we got that understanding from each other. Like, all right, cool, bro. We're gonna leave it at that. Leave that situation alone. But if, say, for instance, somebody came right back around us and asking about it, like, nah, we ain't never had that before. We ain't never had that conclusion before because why? We don't want to keep up mess. We want to keep.
We don't want to keep kicking it.
Hey, you know, the young man in the documentary, Marquell, when y'all was in the session, I think with Pope, you know, he was talking about snapping on his moms. He was talking about what he was going through, and he started to break down. He was like, man, I snapped on my moms, bro. And he was saying that, and to y'all point, it seemed like he was making the people in that circle his family at that moment.
Oh, yes.
He was super vulnerable. The man broke down in front of girls and everything. You know what I mean? And which is a wall that we often build, right? That we often put up. We got to be tough in front of the ladies, but he included everybody in his pain. Like, bro, like I did these things, and I thought that was super powerful, man.
And by him saying that he did them things, he actually also asking for help. Like, how do he co-op with this pain? How can he respect his mom as his mom, and you know, build that bridge so he can climb over the bridge instead of just being on a one-way street.
For sure. It looked like we got a guy, Galaxy A11, trying to talk.
Yeah, I was trying to say something, man. Ain't nobody trying to hear me though.
Come on, hop in. Come on, hop in. You know how we get it.
My fault, baby. My fault. We got 1,000 people on. My fault, man.
It's the barbershop. Just jump in.
You gotta hop in.
That's my cousin, man. He knew it this. He don't know. Just go ahead, cuz.
Hey, listen. So I'm James. My name's James Thompson. And I feel a lot of what's going on in Milwaukee because I'm from here, born and raised here. I've been gone for a long time. Now I'm back. But it's like a lot of stuff that's happening with the youth. It's not just happening here in Milwaukee because I was in Michigan for a long time. I was in Dallas for a long time. And now I'm back here. And it's like, it's the same thing everywhere. Everything, you know, it all stems from not being able to have an outlet or have a platform like we got right now. You understand what I'm saying? What y'all going through, what y'all doing right now is giving somebody, you know, giving them something to say as a youth. Because when I was growing up, I didn't have that. I wasn't able to go talk to no whole bunch of older guys or, you know what I'm saying, mentors or men. Just out here running wild, doing whatever. You understand what I'm saying? I ain't trying to say.
No, I think you took, and that's what I love about the Barbershop Monday. You took the words out of my mouth and put a story behind it. Because I was even gonna ask for young people, do they feel like, you know, same as you? I couldn't go up to, let's say, David Crowley and be like, "What's up, bro?" Like that's just something. You seem disrespectful to do that. Like, you know what I mean? I can't go to Dame, be like, "What up, bro? What up?" Please go to the officer, like, "What up, bro?" Like shake him up, give him a little dap, like.
When I was growing up, bro, because right now I'm 52. When I grew up in Milwaukee, I grew up in the 80s in Milwaukee, bro. It wasn't that. And then, like he said, bro, I'm saying, bro, you know, that's mad respect with everybody that's listening to me. It wasn't like that. It wasn't nobody, you know, I did have my pops, but at the same time, it wasn't, you know, I was out here in the streets. I was out here doing, you know, stuff bad. You know, I wasn't doing good stuff. So what I'm saying is, this is the outlet where, you know what I'm saying, where they can get some insight. Whereas, you know what I'm saying, when I was growing up, I wasn't getting that. I wasn't able to go to no guys, no mentors, or no, you know what I'm saying, my dad, but you know, he's my dad. I wasn't gonna cut into him and talk to him about what I was getting into. I wasn't gonna do that because he's gonna whoop my ass.
Right. Okay.
Go ahead.
I see where you're coming from with that, because I still have that problem sometimes, but it's like me and my dad click a lot, so I could talk to him, but it's still like it's your father. You don't feel you could go talk to him about something. You would rather talk to somebody else about it. And like you said, certain people wouldn't want to just go up to somebody and talk to somebody because they don't know how people act. Nowadays, people don't cooperate with you. You say something to them, like you said, you go up to them, hey bro, how you doing? They take that as disrespect. They'll wild out on, they wig out on you right then and there. That's why certain young folks don't talk to other people. But when you do got good people to talk to, I feel you should use that source.
It also goes back to like how they build up like gates and stuff when they be like, I don't want to talk to you, or they be treating you with your negative vibe when you bring in a positive vibe. That also gives them like that they putting up a fence against you, like that you finna tap into their source, tap into their lives, tap into their stories that they got to tell. Like prime example, behind every statistic is a story. Like it's a story to be explained every time. Behind anybody's story and everybody's story, it's a story to be told because everybody don't live the same. Everybody grew up different. Everybody go through so much that the outward doesn't see. So like, man, that goes a long way.
I mean, it's funny hearing James say what he said. Up in I remember growing up, it was children are meant to be seen, not heard. And a lot of times when you create that type of, when that's the mantra, it's hard for young people to make the decision that they want to step up until they're instilled in somebody. It makes sure to invest in them to step up. But it's extremely important that when we think about our young people, we always talk about the fact that they are a future. No, they're not. They are now. And if we don't treat them like they are now, we're gonna stifle their own growth. And if we want them to become leaders, we have to treat them as leaders. And I think about my own upbringing. Me and my dad never had the greatest relationship until I actually graduated high school. And when I think about what Urban Underground literally did for me, I mean, there are nights when I literally slept on Charlene and Reggie's couch because I couldn't stay at home. And before they could actually say, okay, brother, we need you to start doing better. The first thing that they had to teach me was, well, one, this is how you love. This is what love is. And we don't do enough of that with our young people. We do it with our family, but we don't do it enough with our young people who are not directly kin to us. And so, when you think about where we're going and, so much that we have learned, we have to make sure that our young people know that they are our now and they got it. But it does take some grooming. It does take some guidance from all of us. We always say, it takes a village to raise a child, and it's funny because, well, what kind of village are we talking about? Because if it's a bad village, then what kind of child are they going to raise? And so we have to think about what we want that village to look like before we actually raise that child or touch that child in whatever capacity. But I think right now we're at a crossroads where we need to let all of our young people know that you are the ones that are literally going to get us all out of this mess. I think about even during the civil rights movement, when you think about what they were in, I want to say it was in Montgomery, Alabama, and they needed to fill up the jails. Well, many of the parents did not want to go to jail because they didn't want to lose their job. And so what happened was the young people from ages 4 to about 17, they would walk out of school every day and go fill up the jails, which in turn inspired their parents to get involved in the civil rights movement. So when y'all think about our young people, when you look at Marquell, they are our now. We have to make sure that we're pouring and investing into them.
Oh, good.
The big bottle.
David, I'm thinking about what you said about the village, and I'm a product of the village. My dad, I never knew my dad, but I was raised by the village. I had more fathers and mothers than anybody I know. And as a result, I just didn't do stuff because somebody knew my mama. And I got it from them. And then I got it when I got home to my aunt. And then I got it again when my mama got home from work. So I just didn't do stuff. So when I became a teenager and my friends was out doing stuff and they would come get me, I had my room was on the side. I had a little window by my bed. They would throw rocks up at my window. Hey, Daryl, we finna go do this. I'll see y'all this afternoon if y'all don't get caught. That was me. I was, I wasn't a bad kid, but I wasn't a totally good kid, but I wasn't a bad kid either. And I just didn't do stuff, and so everybody's dad was my dad. Everybody's mom was my mom. Everybody's grandparents were my grandparents. So I had folks all over the city, man. So as a result, I mean, I came up actually pretty decent. But and I'm the guy who now I'm everybody's uncle. I'm everybody's dad. My wife is everybody's mom. I'm perpetuating that same behavior with my family and my kids' kids and my kids' friends' kids. And now I got grandkids, man. I ain't birthed none of them, but they all my grandkids. And they call me Papa. So it's that same behavior that repeats itself as a result. Do we have our own bad and good life experiences? Yeah. But the core is what counts. And that general core is that platform is what you base everything off of and everything grows off of. So as a result, I mean, I got a good life. I got people I can count on. I got kids that call me daddy and papa and uncle. And I got a good base to pull off of. As a result, and not to pat myself, but I'm a good influence on people. But it moved into something else as well. It moved into my personal life and my church life. So I minister to people as well.
Hey, Daryl.
So that's just growing it even further.
Miss Smith, who's on the line also, Miss Barbara Smith,
yes,
big time Amani resident. I know she's on here, but in the chat, she said that relationships have to get built. So relationships got built in order for all those people to raise and rear you. Those relationships have to get built. So Marquell and O.
That's what I had something to say about that too, because for you to call someone else moms or pops or something, they have to be there to help you get through something. They have to show respect to you for you to even give them that title to be called moms, because you only have one mama. So for them they have to be raised you, helped you, did something for you to call them moms. Because I call a few people moms, because I know if I need something, if I need to talk, I need to go to them, I know that I'll be able to go to them and talk to them.
I got four young ladies right now. I call them my sisters. Now, you can't tell them I'm not their brother. They will fight you. I am so serious. And my friend was laughing at me the other day because I told him they found me on the playground. They found me on the playground, took me home. And 2 weeks later, I was with them at the grocery store with their mama, and one of her cousins came by and said hi to them. And he said to her, her name is Bobby. He said, well, Bobby, who is this? And she looked at me and she said, that's my son, Daryl. Now he know that Bobby didn't birth me. But he said, well, how you doing, Daryl? And ever since then, I was her son. And I'm going to tell you how deep it got. It got so deep that when I got to high school, they didn't call my mama to come up there and see me.
Well, I think you're in the robot mode there. Again,
Daryl, you hit the robot.
Yeah, definitely hit the robot. But I think hey, that's a generational dance. I see Quaku hit that. I was like, that's my dance move. That's what we used to do back in the day. But I think that's really proving a point though, while relationships are needed, but then even for the adults on the line, and I'm kind of feeling, I gotta say it because I'm becoming one of those adults. I'm not getting young no more. When a young person calls you that name, we have to take that and be accountable for what they say. We can't be like, oh yeah, I got a whole bunch calling me,
yes, you do,
or I can't call everybody calling me pops. We have to really understand that that's really their call for help. And I know as a young person dealing with suicidal thoughts, dealing with emotional behaviors, I think about the documentary I tried to tell about Marquell. Man, you opened up your story. Like, I'm sorry, it's not nothing biased, but I feel Marquell made the documentary. Like, to really understand what growing up Milwaukee is, like, you cried on like, that lives forever. Like, you can get a girl and 10 years down the road, like, man, I seen you cry. Like, because they seen you there. You opened up your story about your mom. Like, I'm a parent, so I wish my kid would go on HBO and talk about what I'm doing in my house. You like, no, people need to hear about what's going on. You took the initiative as the leader and said, man, look, I'm gonna show people the gritty and the nitty. I'm gonna show people,
Yeah.
but also pull those that's needed. You pulled me to make this platform happen to you. For you to really understand, for those that could come around to understand really what growing up is Milwaukee. And I know Marquell, what we said, man, you winning. Right now, man, you is winning. Like winning, winning, winning. I know you text me this question. I know you want to ask it, but before you ask everybody else, I want to ask you, man, like who's part of your winning circle? Like who's really, really pushing you to make you win? Because we know it ain't all about ourselves. You know, I know personally, but I really want to know who's part of your winning circle. And then after Marquell hit, I want to hear from everybody. Everybody, who's a part of your winning circle, so we can start to hear who's important to us. Who do we need a part of our game plan to make sure that our success, that our accomplishment is really there. So, Marquell, who a part of your winning circle?
I'm glad you asked that question to me because I've been waiting for this answer all day. But who's a part of my winning circle? Honestly, everybody. Why? Because everybody influenced me in different ways of how they approach me. My mom, like she's my most, like even though we had our hard times and our rough times of us going up and through our ups and downs and stuff, but she's a part of my winning circle. She gave me the opportunity to tell my story, to help others, to help the youth, to give back to the youth. My brother,
Hey, Marquell, not to interrupt you. I see DC said he had to hop off at 5. I know it's a couple minutes. Y'all want to do a conversation before you leave off? You know, and I definitely want to leave the platform for you, DC, to leave some leaving words for you before you get off. You're on mute. You're on mute.
That should be the new meme. You're on mute. You know, first and foremost, this has just been great, just to be here, able to be a part of this platform, to have this conversation, to have this open and honest and transparent dialogue is just phenomenal. And I think that's an awesome question for me to actually to leave with is who is a part of my winning circle. And, you know, first and foremost, it is my parents. You know, no matter what has, you know, the good, the bad, they help make me who I am today. You know, and we all recognize that. And you continuously talk about my story. And I'll tell you that, yeah, both of my parents hate when I talk about our story. But the thing is that they also know that story is who made me who I am today. And so they, you know, so very conscious of making sure not to spill all the beans about my story, because there's a lot of. But the other thing for me is that when you think about who's winning, who is in the winner's circle for me, honestly, it's some of the people on this call and it's this community, to be honest with you. I think O was talking about, you know, you got to build that relationship before you can call somebody mom, pops. And I would tell you that, you know, I got a lot of family members that I'm not kin to. And it's because of what they have poured. They've poured so much into me. And honestly, that's one of the reasons why I'm a public servant. I mean, the ultimate sacrifice that I could give this community is by giving back, because they gave me more than I ever deserve, in my opinion. And I would not be where I am today if it wasn't for many individuals literally pulling me to the side to let me know what my potential was, or they had to hold me accountable for something stupid I was doing. Exactly. And so for our young people on this call, for our mentors, our teachers, our facilitators, you know, we all have a role to play. Now, every role isn't for everybody, but there's always a role for somebody. And we all need to make sure that we figure out what our role is. And I like to live with a lot of quotes. And so I'm gonna leave with a few quotes, which is particularly for our young people, which is, and I would recite this quote almost every day when I was in high school, which is, you all, but I laugh at you all because you're the same. Because there's nothing wrong. In fact, we don't have enough individuality here in the world. That's one of the reasons why we're seeing so many people going down the same paths. But the other thing is making sure that, you know, you can continue to be resilient, but that's not what makes you powerful. What's going to make you powerful is what the future you have in front of you and what you do with that. And so I'm gonna leave you with the last quote I'll leave you with is from a great philosopher, and his name is Yoda. That quote is, do or do not. There is no try. And basically with that particular quote is that go ahead and do it, you know, and don't be afraid to fail, because if you want to be successful, you need to double your failure rate. You know, when I first ran for this seat, I lost my very first race. And then 30 days later ran for state assembly and won. And 4 years later, I'm not only the youngest, but I'm also the first African-American to be elected to this seat. And so continue to follow your dreams, follow your path, but know that there are a lot of people around you that is willing to assist you in whatever capacity that they can. But the thing is that, and I would say that, you know, and maybe and Marquell don't have to worry about this, but become comfortable being uncomfortable, because when you can connect with other folks who don't look like you, have a different experience than you, you can forge a lot of partnerships and relationships that can make this whole community much different for the better. So thank you for this opportunity. I appreciate y'all. I wish I could stay longer, but you know, it's a busy life as county executive in Milwaukee.
Thank you for your time so much, David. Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks, bro. Thanks.
Also,
Appreciate it.
Thanks,
also, to go
DC.
back to it too is to listen to understand, but understand to listen. Being uncomfortable with the uncomfortable to even get a great outspec and get a great vibe of what you're gonna go through in life and things.
Yeah, you gotta be able to accept some stuff. You know what I'm saying? You gotta be able to deal with some stuff. A lot of criticism, a lot of people gonna say different stuff that you might not even want to hear. But as long as you accept, you know what I'm saying, you receiving something, you know.
Who would you say is part of your winning circle? Because this is an intergenerational conversation. Because like I said, the young folk need a haircut, the older folk need a haircut. So we in the space, and now we really understand who's a part of your winning circle. So who's a part of your winning circle?
Who, me, James?
Definitely.
My winning circle, I'm gonna tell you right now, is my family, man. My family, you know, I ain't got the biggest family, but I got some very strong family members that they you know, they uplift me. You know, even, you know, I be going through a lot, you know, like this past summer I had a little simple surgery, bro. Simple surgery, just a tonsillitis. And I was in a coma for 7 days. You understand what I'm saying? So, and then, you know, a lot of people didn't think I was gonna make it, you know what I'm saying? I coded twice, you know, but I came back from that. And my family, you know, they all had my back on everything, you know, my little, you know, being off work and not having bread and, you know, but still being able to continue forward, you know, without, you know, giving up. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of people at my age, you know, when you at my age, I'm 52. So at this age, it's hard to not be working. It's hard to not be providing. So you got to stay focused. And when you got a family, you know, if you got a family that's backing you up, you know, that's my winning circle is my family, because they kept me uplifted through all that. You know what I'm saying? Man, so
I want to thank you and just even say thank you for sharing your story and opening up your story. Like I always say, you don't know us from left and right. Well, you know me, you my brother. But from left and right, you know, it definitely. I think Kwaku just popped off. But Kwaku sent you some love too. He had to pop off as well. So he definitely. Anybody else? Who's a part of your winning circle?
I want to hear some people who haven't talked yet. I want to get this, you know, get this going. I want to get everybody involved. This is like we in class right now. I want to get everybody involved right now. Like I want to get everybody their participation grade. And
I'm gonna get over mine
some homework.
Let me get over mine first. My winning circle is my mom, my dad, my girl, and everybody that's been around. Like Brooks, y'all been around, even though y'all know what happened to me this summer. Y'all still stuck around with me. Y'all checked on me while I was in jail. Y'all did everything y'all could. Still to this day, y'all still looking out for me. So I want to thank y'all for that.
We ain't going nowhere. We ain't going nowhere.
I got something, bro. My winning circle when I was Marquell and in Ocean stage was different than it is now, and I'll explain. But it was my mom, some of the members in the community, like James mentioned, we had some OGs that kept me in line. Actually, Cecil Spreewell's uncle stayed across the street from me on 27th, and he knew everything and kept everybody in line. But as I developed and as you continue to grow, I want Marquell and Ocean to know that, or Oshan, I'm sorry. I want you guys to know that your winning circle may change. Now, at this stage where I'm at in life, you know, this is about to sound crazy, but like MLK is a part of my winning circle. Malcolm X is a part of my winning circle. The sister that wrote Cass is a part of my winning circle. Robert Greene is a part of my winning circle. You got to expand your horizon, and the knowledge is out there. One thing that I did know, and my mom always taught me, was knowledge is key, and knowledge will help get you out of here. Kind of like we understand rapping or basketball to help us rise above our means. One thing that she pressed upon me was that education, nobody could take what's in your brain. And so while I have mentors now, it changed and I watched it. My mentors now are people that have kind of like David Crowley, they history makers. They have exceeded the expectations of what people around them or their environment thought they could do. And then the reason they become part of mine is because I was like Marquell, I ain't scared. I'll ask you, hey man, how you do that? You know, you want to share with that? Because I'm trying to do this. I got dreams and aspirations to do this. You doing it. I'm trying to learn how to do that. And these people down here don't know how to do it. Another kind of colloquialism that my mom always taught me growing up, and it's kind of like Daryl, who was like, you know, they throwing the rocks at the window, like, come on out here. And my mom saved me from a 48-year attempted murder bid. I could tell y'all that for sure. But she always told me, if you want to be an eagle and fly, you can't hang around chickens. So I tell y'all that to say, look, check on your I call it the personal board of directors. But you know, you want people, you don't want to be the most successful in your circle. If you are, it's time you give back to that circle as much as you can, but it's time to start looking for new circles so you can expand your horizons and continue to grow. Never rest on your laurels, and no matter what you're going through, because I've been through some hard times and depression as well. I wrote a book about it. But specifically, Marquell and Brooke could tell you, I wanted to reach out to you and let you know, look, always keep in mind, your better days are ahead of you. And if you keep with that mentality, you'll be all right.
Yes, for sure.
I ain't even gonna put Mr. Bingham on the spot to let him know, you know, let you guys know what he does in life. But when you talk about success story, when you talk about coming out of 53206 and being able to make an impact, like, it's on the Zoom right now, like right there. So Marquell, use it. Go ahead, O.
For Mr. Charlie, I see, like you said, your winning circle back then was y'all OGs and everything. I grew up on 38th and Wright. It was a lot going on around there. Yeah, I looked up to them. I was out there with them, and I had to change for the better. Like, you got to change for you. You can't keep doing the dumb things to go down the wrong path. Like, you got to change. And like you said, your circle, I feel if you're doing good in your circle, you should try to do everything in your power to make everyone else in your circle look good, do good, whatever. If they don't do it for themselves and you trying, it's nothing else you can do. You can't do nothing else about it.
You could take a horse to the water, but you can't force
him. Make them right.
And listen, hear me. 27th and Burleigh, that killer Amico, that's where I stayed. Like, I'm a real Milwaukee native. Like, I let people know it don't get too much worse than that right there. And to survive that, I had to let go of some people. Like, yeah, nah, man, you just want to be on dumb stuff. And it reminded me, Marquell, when your friend was on the bench with you, talking to you and asking you the tough questions about your mom, like, how would you feel?
He was on your butt. He was on Marquell's butt. Like, hey, I don't care what you saying, bro.
Right.
You tripping.
You need that, though. You need those people who gonna keep it a buck with you and be like, nah, man, you messing up, bro.
You do need.
You're right about that.
Yeah, you're right about that. Yeah.
Yeah, Marissa put into the chat. That's the definition of a good friend, and I think we gotta name it. That's a good friend.
Word. I never heard a young person call another young person jackass. I never heard that.
Hey, man, hey, it's like the Matrix. The problem is choice.
Man, but yeah, that is a good friend. I still talk to him to this day. Man, it's just like for the trials and tribulations of everybody helping me. Like I said, like, he's younger than me. That's the crazy part about it. I'm 18 now. He's 16 now. And like I said, that's why I say I learned from my mentors, my mentees, and younger people than mentees. Like, it's like you learn from everybody. You take every story, every particle, every perspective, and you take it all up and you build it all up to yourself, and you take little piece by piece by piece, and you build yourself from it. And I want to buzz you right there, Mr. Larry Hoffman. I want to ask you, who's a part of your winning circle?
Whoa, thank you. Hi, y'all. I got some people in my winning circle who are in Milwaukee's Black community, and one of them is Keon Jackson Malone. I listen to him on the radio and work with him in Atkinson Triangle. Another one is Camille Mays. You know who she is, I'm sure. Peace Gardens. And David Bowen is another one. I used to work at the county board. When David Crowley was an aide at the county board, so was I, down the hall from him. And I worked in David Bowen's office. And David helped me understand how to talk with African-American kids. So I ain't that good at it yet, but I'm hanging in there, and I've got a boy that I'm mentoring. So thanks.
What about Miss Zoe? If I said your name right, I'm sorry if I pronounced it wrong. I'm so sorry.
No, that's right.
Hey, Zoe.
Hey, Ocean, how's it going?
Good.
I'm glad you're here. Always good to hear your voice. Yeah, I work for Safe and Sound, and I put in the chat that my winning circle is mainly my fiance, my sister, and my mom, maybe a couple close friends. Some other folks in my family have definitely kind of been there and then fallen off. Let me down a few times, really inconsistent, but I would say that my mom and my sister are the ones who are really always there, like always sticking around. And then I think maybe it sounds kind of funny because I maybe am more of a mentor to them, I guess, but the teens that I work with, Oceana is one of them, and I work with a few other teens through Safe and Sound, and I think that I stay true to my like best self because of them a lot of times, and I know that I have to be there for people, so I show up like authentically and like do the best I can, and you can't let down, then I
You're a
think
little
you're a better
robot,
version of
Zoe.
yourself.
A little robot.
Oh no.
Robot dance.
Okay.
That's the Zoom life. That's the Zoom life. We loving it. We hear you though. You're still. We hear
Okay.
you, Zoe.
It's okay. Yeah. I don't know if you guys heard me, but I basically said some of the teens I work with, I think keep me being my authentic self and keep me responsible, and keep me showing up, and I just make sure that I am the best version of myself that I can be for the people that I don't want to let down. So
Hey, if y'all don't
you're
mind.
muted, Brooks. If you're
I'm sorry. Go ahead. Hop in.
Yeah, I just want to jump in here with my winning circle real quick. The net is cast far and wide when it comes to winning circle, as far as I'm concerned, because it immediately starts out, of course, with family. My immediate family, my wife, my daughter, my son, my mom, and then it moves on to community. You brothers, I hope to include you now inside my winning circle because we all need each other. My wonderful team here at the Office of Community Outreach and Education within PD. We, like-mindedness, we want to get out there because as, Sir Robert Peel said, community is the police and the police is the community. And then it goes on to my ancestors, Columbus McLean, my grandfather, who I never met. I was 2 years old when he passed away, but, my great-great-great-grandmothers and, all those wonderful people shoulders I stand upon, first Black officer of Milwaukee, so it goes on and on and on. So, I just want to say that it's far and wide when it comes to winning circles.
That's what's up. That's what's up. And we appreciate you being here. Appreciate you being here. I know you got a couple people by you too as well, to your left and your right. So even if they want to let us know about
Yeah,
who
I think
coming up.
Officer Ellis want to chime in. Yeah.
I think for me, the main one would be my daughter. She's 24. She's a firefighter, and as I was always her mentor growing up, she's become mine now that she's gotten older. She's encouraged me to make changes as I've gotten older, try new things, and I think we basically really encourage each other. I've helped her see her grow in her career, try new things, and obviously both of us in very male dominant fields, white male dominant fields. And I would say right now she's probably my biggest hero, and I think I'm probably hers. And it just goes to show that how the role kind of reversed is she's got her.
I got something to say to you, officer. I feel you're never too old to learn. Like you always can learn things. You can be 100 years old. You never know everything. You don't know everything. So it's never too late to learn things.
You're absolutely right. It's more so the fear of being too old to learn is more of what it is.
Yeah.
Okay, now we starting to cook up in here now. Well, we were cooking. What we cooking?
Look, you said it's up. You gotta call the next person. You on teacher mode already, Quill. Look, you calling people out. People nervous. Everybody hands sweating. Like, oh, you gonna call me? They writing their notes, Quill. I'm letting you know they writing their answers right now. Trying to get their answers right. Get them, Quill. Get them.
Maritza, you. Who's a part of your winner circle?
So obviously, I have a husband and a son, so they're definitely part of my inner circle. And I, same thing with family and friends and community. But I'm gonna say specifically call out my mom. I think that I also had a very difficult relationship with her because we always butted heads growing up. And when I heard you talk about your mom during the film, that one got me. I think I've seen my mom cry 5 times my whole life. And so I always want to be like, okay, I can't cry in front of my mom because that shows vulnerability and all these things. Little did we know that I know growing up now that I'm a mother, that she was like, I did that so that it would be that I wouldn't show vulnerability towards you so that I could keep strong and be like the adult. I think there's always this sense that, especially if you're a parent, that you have to be the strong one and you have to know everything. And now as a parent myself, I've kind of found out you don't know everything. You figure it out as you go. So being able to be vulnerable and allow my son to, be himself and learn from him and being willing to do that, I feel like that's what I took from it. But it's been crazy, right? Because when I heard you cry, when I seen you cry, I was like, wow, the person who, where I come from, you don't cry, especially men don't cry. And so to see that, I feel like that really brought me back to why we're here in the first place. And even broader than that, I'm hoping that as we're having these conversations and you're talking about your dreams about wanting to write a book and being connected to community and stuff, that when all this buzz goes away with growing up in Milwaukee with all the wonderful people that are here saying they're committed to surrounding themselves around you and all the young people, that we hold up our end and continue to talk about these things because we never know who they're going to touch. And ever since I got to talk to you a couple of weeks ago, you've been on my mind ever since with the stuff that you came out of your mouth. So I appreciate you for that. And I appreciate you for being able to meet you and giving us some time this afternoon when you can be doing so many other great things, I guess, but teaching us all adults about your perspective and what's in your mind. So I appreciate you.
This I want to, before I call on Alex, because Big O, if you cool with me calling you Big O.
Yeah. Wait, hold on. One thing. Real men do cry though. Real men do cry. If you don't cry, then you a simp.
Tell it, look, say it again.
You a simp. If you don't cry, you is a simp.
You have to explain what a simp means because I feel like that's a generational. Do most people know what a simp means? Okay.
No. But I think even in the midst of what Ocean is saying, it's to stand and to be that real man. Just that jargon. There's and I'm saying it more so as an advocate for young people. We hear the jargon and we think so much. We assume so much, but really within the jargon, there's respect, there's unity, there's brotherhood. A lot of things that we complain about young people is really in the words that they speak. So that's why I even though I'm bald and I let them talk about my baldness, I want to still feel young. you know, to be able. Actually, I'm coming for that cut too. I need some in the back. I missed a spot, but to be able
Okay, I
to,
got you.
to pull into this as well. So definitely, I appreciate y'all going deep. This is definitely dope.
And I honestly want to thank you though for sharing your story, because I mean, like I said, it goes back to like every story, each one teach one, and every story helps everybody on this call in their own ways. It helps them mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. And to this is what I almost forgot what I was going to say, but I got it. It came back to my train of thought, was that Brooks presented this opportunity to me to actually give back and speak to the youth, speak to the elders, and speak to just speak to everyone in general. And this is my motivation. This gives me motivation. I'm not trying to get emotional, but gives me a motivation each and every other day, because I got to put my granddad to rest. But I told Brooks that I'm gonna be here for Monday, but Tuesday, give me off so I can go to my granddad's funeral. But Monday, I'm gonna give you everything I got in my power, in my will, and I'm gonna give it all. And I'm gonna present this project as if it was my granddad, and I'm making him proud. So I thank everyone for being here. Thank you for talking. I'm not in the discussion yet, but thank you for actually, I just want to, get here and just thank everyone for being here, taking the time out y'all days to either have this conversation, to get to connect with the youth on a personal connection, on a personal level, to understand us more, and to actually come back together as a whole, as a community. I also do be doing my YouTube channel here and there and stuff like that too. I do daily news with Cool.
Yeah, you feel me? Look, I'm practicing too, bro. I'm with you. You feel me?
So that's my updated information on what's up with Marquell. After the documentary, since the documentary is out, what does Marquell do now? What I do now is I always spend time with family, because family is the most important thing to me in my life. Family is the first thing to my heart. Family is everything. And I just do my daily news with Quell to act, call to act. So yeah, that's what I've been doing. So that's what's been up with me.
Hey,
Can you
Marquell,
put the information in the chat, boss?
Yeah, put your YouTube YouTube link in the chat for everybody can follow you. Hey, don't just follow, don't just look and be like, oh yeah. Nah, subscribe. Definitely subscribe to his YouTube channel, because that's the quickest way that we can support, and it's free. It's free. These young people are on this lane. They're using these social media platforms in ways that I can't even think about it. And this is one way that he's able to really come to the things that are happening in Milwaukee, to pull up. Oh man, I know his vision. This is dope. This is dope in terms of imagine 24th and Burleigh, something happened going on. You see it in Fox 6 News, and the Fox 6 News is giving the narrative about what's going on. But Marquell has this channel that he can also speak about that same situation in a way that we all can connect and understand and move forward. This is something that he birthed. This is something that he needs help for. This is something that he's begging to really put energy around. So definitely connect with Marquell. And even before we, and like I said, Marquell wants to continue to talk, so we're gonna definitely continue to have this conversation. But I want to thank you, Marquell. Really to thank you, man. Man, I know Percy, brother to brother, and man, tomorrow's gonna be tough, bro. Tomorrow's gonna be tough, but just not even with you putting your granddad to rest. Man, just a couple months ago, man, I remember us marching down Silver Spring, bro, and how the call when your brother was killed, and how you stopped from 32nd in Silver Spring to 60th in Silver Spring, and you stopped it by yourself. You didn't have a whole bunch of people with you. It was really by yourself with young people, with youth. And you called. A lot of adults didn't come. A lot of organizations didn't come. I remember you texting me. You was like, man, everybody said they was going to be here, but they wasn't here, man. What's up? And I was like, man, still march. And it's because that you led. I had the opportunity and the privilege to follow. It's helping my leadership. I came into the game thinking, man, oh yeah, I'm cool. I know how to rock with the young people. But until I learned how to follow, then I learned how to lead. So what you're doing is helping adults. What you're doing is helping organizations. But most of all, what you're doing is helping Milwaukee. And I'm gonna stand with you. I know I'm in the room behind you in the kitchen, so I know you can hear me on the Zoom, and then probably in the over there as well too. So you'll probably hear it two times. But bro, we got you. We got you. We are your winner circle. We want to be your winner circle, and we want to continue to push that energy into you. So,
Hey,
I
Marquell.
feel like a big brother. I'm gonna shut my mouth.
Yeah, I think you about to start crying there, B.
Yeah, look,
Hey,
I already did. That's why my camera kept going off and on, because I had to take my camera off.
Marquell, I know we wanted to make sure we had the opportunity to kind of help you in your career path as well. So I know we've had conversations. You've been really vocal about what you want to do with your career. And although you don't know this, Wednesday, if you still down to get up, we're supposed to get up. We got an officer who says he'd be willing to mentor you. Like he wants to take you under the wing and show you what's up.
You know me. Don't mind if I do.
We also got Chauncey Harris from D5, man. He's a great officer from District 5. We also had Jeremy Earn. I think he probably had to hit it. But it's important, man, that we make, look at all of the people that we got on here, from ages to different stations in life, all of this stuff. And it's important that if we're talking about Milwaukee, we can't talk about growing up in Milwaukee without talking about our relationship with law enforcement. So I thank all the law enforcement people for being on here. Chauncey, thank you for joining in and always being a part of stuff when we call out and ask you, man. But we definitely want to keep those lines open and let people know that we are working on our relationships.
Definitely.
Look, he's here. He ain't had to be here.
Another thing too, before we break down from our last little 4 minutes we got, this is a thing that our generation do, not disclosing nobody at all, but me and Big O can understand on this behalf, but it's for everybody. I want to give everybody a chance to. This is my name, Quill to Act. I want you guys to, like, for your loved ones, for your, like, whoever means the most to you, the utmost. You can say plenty of names, but I want everybody on this call, like everybody, I need everybody to participate in this one. To, like, just get a chance to say long live whoever. Like, it's like basically just shouting your loved one name out. Just shout their name out to the sky, to the roof. It's just like, just to get, everybody to be participate. I want everybody to participate. I want everybody to shout their loved ones out and just get a chance just to shout them out. So I want everybody to turn their mics on. I need everybody to say it. I need everybody.
I'm gonna go first. Long live
Doesn't matter.
CJ. Long live Twan.
All right. Come on. Who's next? I go. Long live my brother. Long live my granddad. And long live my cousin.
Long live my pops.
Yes.
Long live my pops. Long live TJ.
I got one. Long live my wife.
Oh, yes.
Hey, and my brother-in-law too.
Okay. Yes.
I'm a follow the people that said long live dad, long live pops for me too.
Long live my protege, Skylar Hayward.
I love it.
Long live my sister, and let God always guide us and use our strengths. So
Amen.
Love one another.
Amen.
Big shout out to Allison. We love y'all. Love to see you, Allison. Good to see you. Good to have you in the barbershop.
What about you, Alex?
And long live Najee. Long live my granddad. Long live my grandma.
What about you, Rebecca?
Long live Edna, my grandma. She made it to 2021 just by a day.
Amen.
Amen.
What about you, DJ? You don't got your camera on, but I want to shout you. I want to, pick on you if you dare, if you can hear me.
I was in the back. I was TA assistant in the background. I
Infamous
did
DJ.
put it in the chat. I said long live to Darren Ware. Long live just the gentlemen whose life were taken, the senseless violence here in Milwaukee. Remember their names and say their names. And then also too, long live my grandmother as well.
Yes. Well,
One thing we all gotta do, y'all, is keep their name alive.
Exactly. Yes. Say it again, bro. Say it again for me.
Keep their name alive.
What's God looking like? What are you going? Man, and Quill, man, that's so dope, man. I want to say long live Marquell, man. Man, like, you are definitely, I'm going to say it, hey, you already know we're going to gas you till we can't gas you no more. That we love you, bro. Everybody around this place loves you, and we're going to continue to show love on you. And for those that tuned in, again, we want to thank you. We got 2 Barbershop Mondays. Well, actually, I think we're going to have a lot of Barbershop Mondays coming up next month. So feel free to connect with either one of us, or one of our youth organizers. Wave your hand. Safe for Sound staff, wave your hand. Somebody, Ariel, we got Dame, we got Alex. Big shout out to D5, Alex Williams and Mark Lazowski. It's good to have the team here. Them boys, y'all see what that means sooner or later. We're gonna pause on that. Mr. Bingham, we want to pause and just thank you for coming, man, from across. Where you at, Baltimore?
Atlanta.
Atlanta. See, I'm giving you the wrong city. You must be moving too fast. You've been
I'm
moving around.
moving
That's
too fast for you. I was in Baltimore.
Hey, that's success when you can move. But man, we appreciate you, and even knowing you know, your support that you'll be in moving forward. Is definitely dope. I see you too, Miss Pat. Miss Pat, it's good to see you as well. You know, I'm just going around seeing
You have to
everybody.
make
That,
me a YouTube, Brooks.
hey, come on, look, we got the
My
camera.
YouTube name gonna be O the Barber.
Yeah. Hey, listen, we got to talk about that for 1 second. So, for those who don't know, O's been rocking with us from for about 2 years now. All right, from Groppy High School. He was coming to the barbershop Mondays, took a leadership role. He actually had an interest in barbering. And so working with Andis Foundation, who makes the clippers, and with the Bucks, they blessed him with like a care pack with all of his starter stuff to get going on cutting hair. So he's been doing his thing. He cut one of our youth organizers' hair. Look, there it is. He got his setup right there. Yeah. So he cut one of our youth organizers' hair, and he's been doing his thing. And you know, I just thank you, man, for rocking with us. And I'm glad we met you, bro.
Thank
David,
y'all
you know,
for looking out, man.
Hey, I even know what I thought about. You made this a barbershop Monday because we didn't even have no barbers. So you the barber. that was a barbershop Monday. That's what I'm talking about. We could even do this virtually. This is what I'm talking about, man. That's what's up. That's what's up. Oh, look, Joe Mar saying he need his beard cut. Look, we get look, getting clientele, getting resources.
Man, listen.
Shout it out. How can we connect to you?
Okay, I'll give y'all my phone number. I got Facebook.
Yeah, throw it in the
Facebook
chat. We're
is
gonna
my
take note of
name.
it.
I'm McCoy. Phone. Yeah, and I'm gonna drop it down in the
Robot. We heard you.
Oh, y'all didn't. Oh man.
Oh no, you didn't see the wrong.
Jaded.
Hey, look, that's our inside joke. So every Zoom meetings, this is gonna be our self-care tip. So when everybody goes on and it hits the robot, don't say you're mute or you wrote this. Just start hitting the robot. And
okay,
take that
yeah.
to your job.
Okay,
so
I got a
do that.
Facebook. My Facebook is my name, Oshian McCoy. And I put my number down into the comment in the chat. So yeah, y'all can hit me there or Facebook, however.
Jason said the T-Pain effect.
And with that being said, this was a successful Barbershop Monday. I would like to thank everybody for coming today. Thank you for your time. Thank you for sharing your stories. Thank you for investing in us and us to also invest in you guys. Thank you so much.
All right, y'all. Peace out. Peace out. Have a good one. Have a good one.
Stay safe.
Thank you.
If don't nobody ever tell you guys that they love you, I love you, and have a successful day.
Love, bro.
Boom.
Love you too, boss.
Love.
All right, y'all. Peace out. Peace out.
Only